day, everyone. My name is Olokode Akim Ayobami. I will be your economics teacher. Today is April 10, 2025, and the topic for today will be basic economic problem. Basic economic problem. What do you mean by basic economic problem? In the society that we are, there are problems that we need to solve, and these problems are what we call economic problems. These problems comes in the form of questions, which every economist needs to solve. And then before we proceed, there are two things that makes economists to solve this problem, and there are two things that bring about the problems. Number one is scarcity of resources, while number two is human want, insatiable human wants, unlimited wants of human, in which between scarcity of resources and human wants, an economist must be able to make a choice in order to solve these problems. So these problems comes in forms of questions, and the questions are: one, what to produce? Number one questions that will lead to the solutions of one of the economic problems is what to produce. How do you mean by what to produce? In our economic societies, due to our limited resources and unlimited wants of individuals, we are meant to solve a problem about what are the things to produce in our society. Are we to produce durable goods, non-durable goods, consumer goods, or producer goods? And all these goods will be based on the identification of human needs, which means identification of consumer needs will lead us to establish the kind of goods we want to produce for them. Having solved these first questions that is likely to be a problem too, it now leads us to the second questions, which is how to produce it. You see, we have solved the number one questions of what to produce by identifying the needs of the consumer. Now, we'll now move to number two, which is how to produce. How to produce. When we are talking about how to produce, this is leading us to What are the techniques of productions to use in producing the identified needs and wants of consumers that will give solutions to the number one question? That is, in terms of how to produce, which definitely is talking about techniques of production, the way and manner are we to produce what we have established to produce. So, in solving this one leads to us be pragmatic in identifying, are we going to use labor in techniques of production, or you are going to use capital techniques of production? What do you mean by capital techniques of production? Or we can also say labor intensive of productions or capital intensive of production. The first one, labor intensive. What labor intensive means is that when we are using more labor to solve the questions of how to produce a particular product, are we using more labor to solve it? Are we using lesser capital? And capital in this sense means machine to bring about the production. While the second one, which is capital intensive, is talking about using more machines, lesser labor to come about producing that particular identified goods and services to satisfy human wants. I will provide solutions to the number two questions that comes as problem. Then number three is for whom to produce. For whom to produce. This question is talking about who are the people are we making production for? Who are the people to sell the product to? Who are the people who is going to buy the product? Are we selling the product to high income class? Are we selling to middle income class as our customers? Or are we selling it to low income class? So that is what the number three questions that come as problems is talking about, which we have to give solutions. Who are the people to buy our products? Who are our target market? Are we targeting the high income class, the middle income class, or the low income class? And number four problems or questions that comes as problem is efficiency allocation of resources. Efficiency allocation of resources. Efficiency allocation of resources. What does this mean? Efficiency allocation of resources is talking about how are we going to use our limited resources that will make sure that a particular good is produced and there is optimum use of our resources. Optimum use of our limited resources. Optimum quantities of goods available for consumer to satisfy their wants. So all these problems, all these questions that comes as problem is what an economist, as an economist, are able to provide solutions to, because there are basic economic problems in the society. It is what we deal with every day as a society, which a solution must come to for us to ensure that our economic activities is going on smoothly. Now, having solved this, we now move to the next one, which is a question on how is country solving these basic economic questions or problem. Number one, the answer to this is country use economic system in solving the problem, the economic problem or questions. So what do we mean by this economic system? Economic system is talking about the decision making concerning production, distribution and exchange of goods and services. Who is making decision concerning production, distribution and exchange of goods and services that will satisfy human wants or needs? So under this economic system, we have three economic systems. One, capitalism or capitalist economic system. Capitalism or capitalist economic system. What does this capitalist economic system mean? It means decision making on production, distribution and exchange of goods and services that will satisfy human wants is vested upon private individuals. That is, it is private individual that is making decision on what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, and efficiency allocation of resources. That is, it is the private individuals that is solving that economic questions we explained above in our first question. Which means the government is just here to put in an enabling environment or policy that will ensure the smooth running of private individuals making decisions on the economic activities. Number two is socialism or social economic system. What does this socialism mean? It means decision making on production, distribution, exchange of goods and services that satisfy human wants is rested on the government, which means government is the one providing solutions to the economic questions or problems enlisted above. It is government that is the ownership, production, distribution of goods and services that satisfy human wants is done by the government. Or we say government is the one that is in charge of making decisions concerning giving solutions to the economic questions or problems of how to produce, what to produce, for whom to produce, and efficient allocation of resources. The last one, which is number 3 of the economic system, is mixed economic system. Socialism can also be called centrally planned economic system. That number 2, socialism can also be called centrally planned economic system. Centrally planned economic system. Centrally planned economic system. Economic system. So the mixed economic system, this one is talking about both private individuals and governments providing solutions to the above economic questions of how to produce, what to produce, for whom to produce, and efficiency allocation of resources. Nigeria falls into this category. We see that there are goods we call public goods and private goods. For example, in mixed economic system which Nigeria practicalize, we will see that in the health sectors and the education sectors, we have public schools, we have private schools, we have public hospitals, we have private hospitals, which means both private individuals and the governments are making decisions concerning what to produce, how to produce, efficiency of allocation of resources for whom to produce in the society. Now, having established all this, then we have to move to a topic called trade. These topics can be found in both economics and commerce. Trade. And under this trade, we are looking at what is aids to trade. What is aids to trade? Commerce is all activities that involve distribution and exchange of goods and services that will satisfy human wants. And commerce is divided into two. We have trade and aids to trade. Trade is a buying and selling of goods and services, while aids to trade is those things that will make the buying and selling of goods and services to be possible, or making it easy, or having a smooth operations of buying and selling. That is what aids to trade means. It can also be called ancillary to trade. Ancillary to trade. Aids to trade can also be called ancillary to trade. Be called ancillary to trade. Like we said, these are the things that makes buying and selling to be easy, or to have smooth operation of buying and selling. Under this, there are some items that makes up that aid to trade. Items that made up of aids to trade. These items are: 1. Insurance. 2. Banking. 3. Warehousing. 4. Advertising. 5. Number 5, communication. Number 6, number 1, insurance. Number 2, banking. Number 3, warehousing. Number 4, advertising. Number 5, communication. Number 6, transportation. Now let's take one after the other. Number 1, insurance. How does insurance help buying and selling? How does it make it easy? 1. Insurance ensures that it makes provision against future loss. It's helping business against future loss. helping a business against future loss. Some people might have a business, companies in which they might fail in the end or in the future. There might be a fire outbreak or theft. So for you to guide against that, they have to insure the business. And that is why insurance is there to help us ensure that there is nothing that stops the operation of that business in terms of any future loss that will occur, which might truncate the operation of the business or which might affect the smooth running of the business. Number two, banking. How does banking help buying and selling? How does it make it easy to buy and sell? Bank make provision for fund or capital. Bank provides us capital or fund to ensure the smooth operations or running of our business. And that capital is given to us as a businessman using loans or overdrafts, and they charge interest. That is what bank does. Warehousing. Warehousing helps buying and selling by providing a place where the goods can be kept for future demand or request. Warehousing provides a place where goods that are being produced in advance can be kept until it is needed. For example, now we have a season period and we have off-season period. Look at the Easter coming or Christmas. You see that there is high demand for goods or products during that period compared to when the period is not around. So a producer or businessman foresee that and produce large quantities in advance and store it so that when there is high demand for that product, you'll be able to meet that high demand. That is what warehousing does for us. It helps us to have a place that will store our goods for future demand or for high demand in our product. Advertising. How does advertising help? It helps by creating awareness for our products or stimulate demand for our products. Advertising helps us to ensure that we make every of our consumers be aware of our products, which in turn we make them to buy. We use advertising to create awareness for our products, to inform the buyers our products, whether it is new products or old, to tell them where they can get the products and to tell them the price and how the products can be used. That is how advertising helps us in buying and selling of our goods and services. Communication. It helps in the smooth sending. It helps in the smooth sending and receiving of messages concerning our business. Communication will help a buyer to make a requisition, to send a requisition form without leaving their offices. They can also send purchase order through mails, through messages, or through call. And then communication is not complete if the message is not received by the recipient. So in order to ensure that there is no barriers in our business, so communication helps to make our messages faster using telecommunications by mobile or emails or other means of communication. Transportation helps helps to move the goods produced to where it is needed. Transportation helps us to move the goods to where it is produced to where it is needed. That is where they will buy it. Moving of goods from one place, goods or services or human from one place to another is transportation. So how is it helping buying and selling? It will help buying and selling by ensuring that good moves from where it is being manufactured or produced to where it will be consumed. That is how transportations are in our buying and selling, which is trade. Having said this, I believe everybody in this class understands all the aspects of this topic. Till then, we'll continue in our next class. Have a very wonderful day.